So as you learned in your investigation activities, to solve equations, you want to isolate the variable. You want to have the letter all by itself. So when you are given an equation, and when you look at this equation, I'm sure most of you could figure out through a method of guessing and checking what the answer is. But what we're trying to do is build the process of properly solving equations, because equations do get much harder than this one. So we start with simple equations and we practice the process so that as we get to harder equations in grade 8 and grade 9 and grade 10, we can fully understand the process. So the first thing that you need to do when you see an equation is you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do to get the variable by itself? So on the left-hand side of the equation, we have x plus 8. I want it to say just x. So how do I get x by itself? Well, I need to get rid of adding 8. So then you have to ask yourself, well, how do I get rid of adding 8? You get rid of adding 8 by subtracting 8. If you subtract 8 from the left-hand side, to keep the equation balanced, you also have to subtract it from the right-hand side. This part here becomes 0. It cancels out. This part simplifies to 15. And so that's why I'm left with x equals 15. So let's look at another example like that. So again, this time you have x minus 5 on the left-hand side. To get x by itself, you need to get rid of subtracting 5. So how do you get rid of subtracting 5? You need to add 5. If I add 5 to the left-hand side, I need to also add 5 to the right-hand side. This, again, becomes 0. So I'm left with just x. This becomes 37, and I have my answer. You do have to show all of your work. Another way to show work is like this. So there are two different options for showing work. So if I was given x plus 3 equals 24, I can show I want to subtract 3 from both sides, and I'll get x equals 21. The other way that I can show it is I can just show, because I know that when I subtract 3 I'm left with x, I can show that as my second line. You can play around with what works best for you. I suspect most of you are going to prefer the one on the left, but there may be one or two of you that prefer the one on the right. The one thing that you do when solving equations, you'll notice that the equal sign is in the middle. It is not on the left-hand side. That's probably one of the only times in math that the equal sign will not be right on the left-hand side of the equation. So let's look at some more examples. So when you look at this one, how do you get rid of subtracting 6? I get rid of subtracting 6 by adding 6. If I add 6 to the left, I need to add 6 to the right. On the left-hand side, I'm left with x. And on the right-hand side, I'm left with 24. Now, I can also show that in a different way. It is up to you which way you prefer. Both ways you are showing work, it's up to you what one you prefer. For B, how do I get rid of adding 14? To get rid of adding 14, I need to subtract 14. If I subtract it from the left, I also need to subtract it from the right. On the left, I'm left with x, and on the right, I am left with negative 39. Likewise, if you prefer, you can show it a different way. You can say x equals negative 25 minus 14. You're going to get the same answer. It's up to you how you want to show your work. Don't forget to ask any questions if there's something that you don't understand.